Hi guys, Iron Cameraman here. The TV man Titan still has the ability to speak, which means he can pass valuable information to the Alliance. But have you ever thought that this ability might not only be helpful, but also incredibly dangerous? In fact, I'd even say it puts the Alliance in serious danger. The Astro Toilets could easily take advantage of this by sending a couple of fake messages that seem like they're coming from the Titan TV man. You can probably imagine what kind of mess that would create. But I'll get into more detail about that later in this video. Right now, a quick disclaimer. Some of today's theories might contradict what I said in a previous video. That's because I took another look at them from a different angle, and in this new context, they actually make a lot more sense. It doesn't mean the older theories are wrong, but I think today's ones are a bit more interesting. If you've already hit the like button, let's dive in. So, one time, Steak asked a question about G-Man and the Duchess. There's a popular theory that says the Duchess is G's daughter, but is that really true? Let's break it down. First off, even though G-Man used to be a high-ranking commander, he never had any noble titles, unlike the Duchess. If they were actually related, they'd belong to the same class, but they don't. Look at G-Man's so-called crown. Those ribs on it represent military rank. The Duchess doesn't have any of those ribs at all, which means she isn't part of the Astro Toilet military at all. Still, being family isn't the only thing that could have connected them. As we know, the Astro Toilets came to Earth with one main goal: to destroy traitors, and G-Man is one of them. And here's the interesting part. The Duchess shows up on Earth in person. That can only mean one thing. She knows G-Toilet well. And that's not the only coincidence. Think about who else was sent to eliminate G-Man: the Scorpion and the Juggernaut. Both of them used to serve under him. They either volunteered for the mission, or the High Command picked them specifically because they had a personal connection, and now had to prove their loyalty. It's the same with the Duchess. She didn't just come to Earth as a warrior, she came as someone meant to personally finish off the traitor. Maybe G-Man once tried to overthrow the Astro leadership, and the Duchess was one of the targets he wanted to eliminate. That would explain why she now hates him, both as an enemy and as a personal betrayer. There was another question too. Does G-Toilet have kids? As we've already figured out, the Duchess definitely isn't one of them. But based on G-Man's conversation with the Juggernaut, it's clear that he did have a child. And here's why it's not the Duchess. First of all, she's a full-blooded Astro, which means she can totally take care of herself. Second, who among the Astro Toilets would dare to hurt her? That wouldn't make sense. Plus, there's not a single scar or mark on her face that would show she's been tortured or abused. All of this points to a brand new character, and from the way G-Man talks about them, it sounds like this person will play a huge role in the episodes from the 80s. So very soon, we might find out who they are: son, daughter, and what exactly happened to them in the past. Another follow-up question about a more mysterious character. Does anyone outside of Earth know about the existence of the secret agent? Boom, just like with other spoiler questions, didn't answer it. Let's start with the fact that by the time he was made administrator of Alpha Hills, he already had some unique abilities or knowledge. That's exactly how he made a deal with the government. We know that the Alliance's energy, judging by the gate experiments, has an extraterrestrial origin. And the experiment with Katie happened all the way back in 1985. A technological leap like that could only happen with alien tech involved. The secret agent already knew not just about the Astro Toilets, but also about the upcoming invasion. That's why he helped the scientist first, and then G-Toilet. And look, even after the Astros had invaded, they still couldn't do anything against the gates. Thanks to them, the TV man Titan and the speaker man just escaped. Now here's the big question. Where did humans and the Alliance even get the gate technology if the high-tech Astros couldn't handle it? That suggests the secret agent isn't just a human. The Astros don't know anything about him. They've never mentioned him, not even when talking about missing squads. So how did he even find out about them way before the invasion? There are two possible sources. First, the scientist. Judging by the image with red eyes and a halo, he might have been an Astro himself. Second, G, for the same reasons. But that still doesn't explain how the agent was prepared for all this before the skibidi toilets even appeared, which means he knew about the threat in advance. That leaves one conclusion. He's either not human or someone like the G-Man from Half-Life. And yes, Boom was inspired by him. He's got his own network of agents, works with the Alliance, even with former Astros. All that makes you think his influence and resources go far beyond Earth. After all, tech like the gates couldn't just appear out of nowhere, so either he has his own link to another civilization, or he's a part of it. Actually, the space scenes might give us some clarity on this topic, and we're lucky that Steak asked the question, will we see an episode in space? Boom answered briefly but confidently, well, of course. It's pretty clear he's talking about a battle with the Astros. They're the main candidates, since they're the ones conquering space and clearly have what it takes. Hyperdrives, powerful weapons, and tech adapted to the vacuum. The Alliance is already capturing their tech, so it's only a matter of time before they start full-on space battles themselves. That means not just regular agents will need proper gear, a whole army of Titans will too. By the way, agents apparently don't need oxygen. But the Astros? They probably have some kind of force field that forms an invisible helmet around their heads, plus an internal life support system. The very fact that we're talking about battles in space suggests that Earth will eventually be freed by the Alliance. But then a logical question comes up. What exactly are the Astros guarding out there in space? We know their base is the mothership. And this is where things get interesting. They might be building gates right now that could instantly send an army to Earth. An army even bigger than everything on the mothership combined. That's why the next question about an underwater episode makes perfect sense, and Boom gave another yes. By the way, we've already seen a short underwater scene. In episode 77, it confirmed two interesting things. First, agents don't need oxygen, and second, their bodies are well protected from water, even though they're basically walking toasters that should theoretically break down from a short circuit. So they probably have great insulation, maybe even active defense systems. The real issue is pressure. Every 10 meters deeper means one more atmosphere. So how tough are these agents really? Would they get crushed like a soda can if they go too deep? But all of this leads to the main question. Why would the Alliance even want to fight the Astros underwater? The answer is that Earth's surface is quickly being lost. The Astros aren't just taking land, they're also destroying Alliance bases. One of the 3 underground TV men bases is already gone, and the other 2 are in danger. According to one fan theory, the Speakerman's base might actually be hidden underwater. Is that possible? On the outside, they don't look made for underwater use. They're heavy, bulky, with no gliders or underwater engines. Without special gear, they probably can't even float. And even if they could, they'd move super slowly, crawling across the sea floor, taking hours or days to go just a few kilometers. But maybe the base isn't that deep. We know the Alliance bases were originally research centers built in hard-to-reach places. Maybe their placement even forms some kind of triangle, which is what makes the gates work. That could explain the whole star division system. So the Speakerman's base is probably on land, somewhere in the mountains, desert, or jungle. But underwater there might be something smaller, like a secret lab. And yeah, if anyone's wondering if it's even possible to show an underwater scene, well, just remember Pacific Rim. So yeah, it's totally doable. Now we're coming back to the theory from the beginning of the video. Remember when Steak asked if the Astros can control the Watchmen of Doom's speech? And Boom said, yes. But the key word here is can. That doesn't mean they always do it. It just means they have the ability. And that opens up a whole chain of dangers. For example, the Astros could make the Watchmen tell the Speakerman Titan some kind of fake info like, here's the parasite's weak spot, and lure him into a trap. Or they might name a fake location where someone important is supposedly hiding. The Titan or a group of agents heads there, and there's an ambush waiting. There's also a chance the Astros won't let the Watchman talk at all. They could just shut him down or mute him whenever he tries to reveal something important. So yeah, his ability to speak is a double-edged sword. Now let's talk more about the speech itself. Who's actually in the voice acting team? We know Boom voices most of the characters, but what about the female ones? Boom said he voices those too. I don't think he's joking, since he always lists everyone involved in the episode in the description, even Steak and EBO's screams. It would be weird to leave out the voice actors. Steak and his viewers had some interesting guesses in the chat, like maybe Boom uses AI for the voiceovers, but we clearly hear different voices for the Duchess and Kathy, and they don't sound like the popular AI voices like the one Dada Bio uses, and they're not robotic either. Most likely, Boom uses some method of processing his own voice through AI, kind of layering a filter on top of it, and then manually adjusting settings like volume when needed. If you like this breakdown of the interview, make sure to check out the previous 4 and hit subscribe so you don't miss the next one. See you again soon.